Today we're going to be discussing how to utilize your summer break in DP1 and DP2. So, when you're transitioning from DP1 to DP2, it's very scary considering you have your college applications and you have your external exams by the end of the academic year. So, today we're going to be focusing mainly on how to kind of buckle up for that academic year and to make the most out of the 2 or 3 months you have for your summer break. So number one would be academic preparation. So this includes reviewing past materials. So by this what I mean is review notes and your textbooks. Go through your notes and the textbooks to reinforce your understanding of materials covered in DP1, especially for the really content-heavy subjects. This can include subjects in the sciences such as bioHL especially, chemistry, economics, which isn't a STEM subject, but humanities are very, very content heavy. I've heard that psychology has about 200 case studies, which I can only imagine is so, tedious to go through. Of course, you don't have to remember everyone, but still, it's really good to just be on top of your game. And in the summers, you have ample of time to kind of review that material, even though you have stuff for your SAT or your ACT, you have internships, but it's also really important to just revisit the content you learned over the previous year. So when you come back to DP2, you won't be feeling like a gap between the learning, because once you have the 2-3 month gap in between, you kind of tend to forget some things naturally. So this is a good way of just making sure that you can retain all the information that you've learned, or at least most of it. So number 2 for this tip would be identify your weak areas. So focus on the subjects or the topics per subject that you're not very good at. You can revisit your tests, your assignments. You can even, if your teachers are free, of course, you can email them and contact them over the summer for extra help, or you could get tutors for, making sure that you don't lag behind and can hopefully secure a 7. So tip number 2 for academic preparation is read your syllabus and read ahead. So number 1 tip for this would be syllabus preview. Look at the DP2 syllabus to just get an idea of the topics you'll be covering. Reading ahead can kind of give you a head start per se for each of your subjects, so you have a good idea of what you're going to be learning. You can also watch videos, read the textbook, or if your teacher already has slides from the year before, you can request them just to kind of skim through and get an idea of what you'll be covering so you're a bit more familiar with the content. Number 2, your extended essay research. I cannot emphasize on how important this is. Now, the thing with the extended essay is it's only 1 out of your 3 core points for a 4,000 word essay, which I know sounds unfair. I totally agree. I am so not disagreeing with that. But if you haven't started on your extended essay, trust me, you're going to want to use this time to select a topic, conduct your primary or secondary research, and to begin drafting. This is also a great way of getting to know your teachers and getting to work with them with extra time, of course, because there'll always be a lot of back and forth with the teachers about feedback and those type of things, with advice on what should I put in here and what content from the syllabus should go in here based on whatever your topic is. And it's very important to kind of engage with your teachers in a very, well, for lack of better word, in a good way, because these teachers are also going to write your letter of recommendations. And for example, my extended essay is in business, and I intend to go into business or law eventually. But for the business, I would, need a business-related letter of recommendation. So I have to work with my supervisor and also show my supervisor that I'm worthy of, securing that A, because it's not that simple. No matter how scoring it might be in any particular subject, it's still important to put in that A-worthy effort. So do make sure that you have a good relationship, a good bond with your teacher. Number 3, your internal IAs / your internal oral. So your IAs and your IOs. So plan and draft them. Begin working on your IAs, your IOs, and also your HL essay for the HL language and literature you take, if you take any. Drafting and planning can definitely help elevate and just improve the quality over the summer break and also reduce the workload during your DP2, because DP2 is going to be so hectic with the external exams covering the content and definitely also the college applications. It's such a tedious time. That's why I think getting the most you can get done in the summer break is amazing, because you will definitely need this time to make sure that you're doing the best in your abilities to kind of save yourself the time in the future, which you will thank yourself later. So don't, just enjoy your summer break, watch Netflix. I need to take my own advice because I've been binge watching shows. But I have started working on my extended essay, which I'm proud to say. So yes, do kind of, work in that direction. Number 4, TOK essay and presentation. So tip number 1 for this would be brainstorm your topics. If you're not done with your presentation or your essay, do have a meeting with your teacher, have a sit down with them, discuss the prompts you're interested in, and make sure you kind of think through the ideas for your objects and for your presentation. Tip number 2 would be to research and to outline. So what I mean by this is start researching and outlining your TOK essays and your presentation. So by the time that you're done with your summer break, you only need to do some modifications and tweaking when it comes to DP2 starting off. And that goes for your IAs and for your IOs and your extended essay as well. The sooner you're done with them, the sooner it's going to benefit you to work more to put in more effort and more time for your external exams. Now let's start on with section 2, which is skill development. And the first topic would be time management. So in DP, you have to write by your hands, while as in MYP, you have to type in the e-assessments. So that is kind of a switch that you struggle with towards the start of DP1, but hopefully by DP2 you kind of improve. But for those kids who take humanities, writing is such a big part of your subject, so making sure the most of your time is being productive is very important. So by that, you should try to, number 1, create a schedule. I know, very basic, but also so efficient. Plan a balanced schedule that includes your study time, your rest, and your extracurricular activities as well, so nothing is getting compromised. Number 2, set goals. Set very specific and achievable goals for what you want to accomplish each week or even each day, depending on how you prefer it. The best is to definitely not have huge chunks of, I have to write the 2,000 words of my extended essay in one day. Definitely space it out with, for example, with the extended essay, maybe primary research or secondary research on these days, and then writing the report for this section for the methodology or for this or that, or working on the formatting, something like that, just to make yourself not very overwhelmed. That will definitely help you out. And tip number 2 in the skill development would be research skills, which is so important in the IB. It's also one of the ATL skills. So tip number 1 for this would be online courses. Consider taking online courses to improve your research and your academic writing skills. It's also very helpful for your college applications to take courses from esteemed universities. It looks very good for extracurricular activities and things like that. So definitely, it's also just so good for broadening your horizon to what's out and about in the world, and it definitely helps to give you an idea of the college course and how they kind of thought, obviously to a more simpler level, but definitely still up there for you to at least get an idea of what it's going to be like in college, because these modules, these classes, they're designed by the professors in these esteemed great universities. So I think that's just so good for personal learning as well, based on whatever course you enjoy. Number 2, library skills. So I bet you're wondering, what do you mean by library skills? So let me explain. This means to learn how to efficiently use library resources and databases for none other than your extended essay, and also your other research projects like your IAs and IOs and HLSs. The best way is to go sit around, make sure in libraries, online or physical, to look for different resources. For research, it's best to always have your research accumulated from different various sources. Have some things that are blog related, or have some primary and secondary data that could be from newspapers, from interviews, from surveys, and encyclopedias. These type of things in your bibliography, which you do get marks for an extended essay at least, you get to show that your research was so holistic. You didn't just learn stuff from online articles. You also maybe interviewed somebody, a professional. You also went on videos to see the very implication of that thing, and not in the theory exactly, but also in the real world. And for encyclopedias, it's also so factual. Encyclopedias are obviously very well versed for these things, so that's such a great tip for just overall research for whatever project. Even at a very micro level, the project would definitely benefit from a variety of an array of different sources. To continue, the third segment is personal development. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about here is reading. So number 1 is read widely. Read, again, a variety of books, including fiction, non-fiction, and academic texts. This will improve your language skills and your general knowledge, and especially for the literature subject, it'll help you understand and decipher things such as literary devices, things like metaphor, anaphora, these type of things. Where do they apply? And the more you read, the more you'll be apt at just seeing it on paper. And it's also really good for critical thinking and just analyzing things on the very surface, at least, which you can obviously do deeper, but it just helps you understand the text much better. Number 2, subject-specific books. This is definitely a really good tip. Read books related to your HLs, even your SL. This will help you deepen your understanding. If there's, let's say, a psychologist who's very well known in the field, and you personally think their work is interesting, and they have a autobiography, or they have a research paper out, you should definitely read up on that, because that would add such a good, you could probably refer to that in your college essays. Probably now you should discuss that with your guidance counselor. But it'll also help you better understand your subject, even if the IB in the DB diploma per se is more towards the beginning and the more surface of these subjects, but it'll still help you get a better understanding and knowledge for your own self. Number 2, extracurricular activities. So CAS projects, number 1, which I already have an episode on for, which is called Introduction to CAS, so do check that out if you're looking for an in-depth on CAS projects and ideas and how to begin with your CAS. But number 1 would be to plan and engage in your creativity, activity, and service. These projects are so important, and they're amazing because CAS is something that's an extracurricular activity while also being a part of your diploma. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You're doing something for your diploma and also doing an extracurricular activity for your college apps. So you really get the benefit from both ends. So you should document your experiences and reflections. For example, if you went to plant trees, make sure you take a lot of pictures of each step and you record it. You write your reflections on ManageBack. You write about what you did, your planning, and obviously upload the pictures, upload videos, whatever that you use as a reflection piece or an experience piece. So do document that, because that is very important. Because with CAS, either you pass it or you don't. So you need to pass it for a diploma, so might as well take all those pictures, even though I know it's very tedious. Okay, to continue, skill development, which I know we did just touch up upon, but let me clarify what I mean by this at this level. Pursue hobbies or new skills that interest you, that genuinely fascinate you. This will contribute to your CAS portfolio while doing something that showcases how truly interested and keen you are in whatever that thing is. So definitely align it with a subject that you take, and also with something that you're genuinely really interested in. Number 3, rest and relaxation. I know summer break seems like the best time to rest and relax the whole many days, but you need a balance. For that, you need to ensure you have a healthy balance between your work and your relaxation to avoid your burnout. That's a tip number one, and I think that is so important. And tip number two is exercise. You should regularly exercise, do activities like jogging, walking, cycling, things like that. This will definitely help you enjoy a bit more, and exercising can also help people be more productive, and it's also so good for maintaining your mental and physical health both, which, considering how rigorous the IB is, it's really good to just take care of yourself. And people always joke about locking in for the exam. It's also really good to lock in for yourself and take care of yourself. Okay, next segment is preparation for university applications. I know, the most scariest of them all, which I totally am also very scared for going into DP2. But number one, research your universities. Explore your options would be my first suggestion. Research universities and programs that interest you and that are also aligned with the subjects you have taken. Consider their requirements and also their application deadlines. For example, a lot of universities, for let's say the US, early action is around October, November, and regular decision is around December, January. But MIT, for example, they take in your applications all the way in August, and the UCs like UC Berkeley, UCLA, they don't have any early action or regular decision. They only have one time of the year that they take in the applications. So definitely do your research for these things, because that is very, very important. Number two, prepare your documents. I've heard this from my seniors. It's like, prepare your documents as soon as you can. This means your resume, your personal statement, and your letter of recommendations. Over the summer break, just email the teachers related to your courses, like the subject stream you're going into. Email them and request them for a letter of recommendation, and work on your personal statement. Work closely with your guidance counselors, with your editors, so that you can, again, be on top of your game. Because honestly, being in DP a year in now, I feel like the sooner you get your work done, the better it is for you, because it is so important to save as much as time possible, because the DP is genuinely no joke. It is very rigorous, and a lot of people who take challenging subjects such as all three sciences, and even people who take really content heavy subjects such as the humanities, they do tend to suffer due to lack of organization. And the more you're organized, the better it is. So definitely plan ahead. Of course, not to the point where you're planning ahead, what job am I going to get after college? Not like that, but, a couple months ahead would be the way to go. But of course, you do what best fits you. One mold does not fit all. Okay, number two, standardized tests. What I dread the most. Practice your tests. So if you plan on taking the SAT, the ACT, use the summer to prepare and practice. Your SAT is in late August, so if your summer break starts relatively around 1st of June, you have about 3 months to prepare, or 2.5 months. So, utilize that time. Make sure you're really locking in for them, because they can really genuinely help. And a lot of universities are reverting from the SAT optional requirement due to COVID no longer being the issue that it is. And I wish COVID would come back just for that. I'm joking. But yes, definitely make sure you make the most of your time when it comes to the standardized testing. Now, the last segment is your mental and physical health, which we also did touch upon just previously a while ago. But that was quite brief, so let's kind of get into the very depth of it. Number one would be mindfulness and stress management. So tip number one would be meditation. Practice mindfulness or meditation to manage stress. You could make a list of things you're really grateful for, people you're grateful for. This kind of helps you stay uplifted and motivated. And number two would be a healthy lifestyle to, obviously maintain your sanity because you will lose it. Maintain a balanced diet and get adequate sleep, so that you are definitely taking care of yourself, because trust me, coffee and 3 hours of sleep is not going to help you. You will crash and burn out. So trust me, it is really good to get your at least 6 hours of sleep. It will do you wonders. Number 2 is social connections. So stay connected, stay connected with your family, with your friends, with your peers, your teachers, everyone who you genuinely find joy talking to, because that is your support circle, that is your social circle. They're hopefully going to be there for you. And it's really important to, have a social life during DP, because your friends can truly really help you out. Be friends with your seniors. They are genuinely the biggest resource out there. So with that, this is the end of the episode. I hope that this was very useful. You can, by following these strategies, you can hopefully make the most out of your summer. You can balance your academics with, your personal development, your relaxation, and hopefully settle yourself in for success in DP2. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!